Hi guys, welcome back to my podcast. Welcome back to this little corner of the internet. I'm super glad, super grateful, and honestly just honored that you guys are choosing to tune in here with me today. Today we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day, and more specifically, if you have complex feeling around Valentine's Day, we're kind of going to uncover what that means for you, what's the root cause, and how we can actually transcend that and work through that together so you can kind of go through that day, which is literally right around the corner, in a lot more of an effortless way this year. And if it's not this year, because there's still a lot of work to do, that is completely okay. But you can still foster those techniques, foster those, what it is that you've learned through this podcast, and use it for next year so that maybe next year, next Valentine's Day, you'll have a much better time. So before we actually jump into this, I do want to talk to you guys about a few different things, a little bit of housekeeping. The first thing is that people that are watching on YouTube, you can see that there's a microphone just in front of my face. Well, not in front of my face, but you get what I mean. And that just means that this video is also going to be posted as a podcast episode. So I have a podcast that's launched sometime in August last year. I've been posting every single week since it started, and it's every single Sunday there's a new podcast that goes up at the same time as this video goes live. So if you don't want to see my face, my hands moving around, and you just want to be listening to my voice while you're walking around, doing your work, cleaning the kitchen or whatever else that you have to do, you can definitely do that now. It's something that I'm really proud of and excited that I get to bring to you guys. Then the second thing that I want to tell you guys is that my YouTube channel now has a kind of a new-ish schedule. I have a video every single Sunday, which is the podcast episode. That just is always there. And then I have bonus videos on Wednesdays as well, where I talk to you guys about a topic of my choice. But we dive in maybe a little bit less deep than we would in a podcast episode, but it gives you kind of something midweek to look forward to that you can watch and hopefully learn something from. Again, more healing and more growing every single Wednesday, which is just really cool and exciting. And on top of that, every Friday I now have a new YouTube channel. It's called Orlane, which is basically my cover channel, because I'm a singer. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm a singer. I've sung for multiple years, and I finally decided to get over my fear, get over myself, and start this new YouTube channel. So I'm hoping to have a cover every single week on that channel. It's really fun, and it would mean a lot to me if you could check it out and let me know what you think. So these are kind of like the announcements. It's really exciting times here. But let's dive into today's podcast episode. The first thing I need to tell you is that I have a YouTube video that has gone up already on Valentine's Day, on the Valentine's Day topic, on Wednesday. And that was more of me explaining kind of my personal complex feelings with Valentine's Day, what it's taught me, why I hated Valentine's Day, what I'm doing to change that, all that jazz. So that's kind of looking at that topic from my perspective and my own life with my own personal story. But I thought that it would be important to have kind of like a sister video that has some overlapping content, but not too much, but more from like a impartial perspective, not so much of my story attached to it, just because it might just be a little bit simpler to digest that way, if you don't have my story kind of embedded in it all the time. So let's talk about kind of complex feelings that can rise up on Valentine's Day. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like we very rarely see on Valentine's Day on Instagram or whatever, people that genuinely tell you, hey, Valentine's Day is just a day. It's just the 14th of February. Yeah, society has named it a holiday and stuff like that, which to me is crazy. The fact that companies make so much more money in February because of Valentine's Day and because people really feel like you need to up your self-care game, buy gifts to your partner, whatever it is. I find that kind of mad, but this is the way society works, We're all kind of indoctrinated into believing certain things and conforming to certain different things. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that we're taught to conform. And so then, because some of us can't conform, right? If you don't have a partner, then you can't be part of that group. You feel like you are othered. You feel like you're not part of that tribe. Then complex feelings can definitely show up. Not for everyone, but for a lot of us, they can definitely show up. I personally know that I felt very alone, very different, very othered, very lonely, very sad a lot of Valentine's Day, because I've been single for most of my life. And even when I was in a relationship, on Valentine's Day was kind of a weird day, because I feel like society kind of tells you what you should be doing on Valentine's Day. Buy a gift, buy the chocolate, have a cute little date, have strawberries or whatever it is. But not all of us are the same. And so if you kind of have somebody that's just going to conform to what society is telling you to do without looking at what their partner actually wants and what their partner would actually prefer, like their preferred way of being loved, it's not going to work very well if you just like, give them, I don't know, like 50 roses, but actually for them, yeah, the roses are nice, but it's not the same as going on a long hike with you for the whole day, which would have made them feel a lot more special, if that makes sense. So that's also a thing to take into account when you're thinking about Valentine's Day and you're actually part of that group that can celebrate the quote unquote traditional normal Valentine's Day because you are in a relationship. Make sure that what it is that you choose to do, if you choose to celebrate that holiday and celebrate that whole love day, make sure that you put your partner's needs and your partner's way that they like to be loved at the forefront and the center of what it is that you do. Don't just get convinced that they are going to love or appreciate what it is that you do just because you've seen 5 other girls or 5 other guys enjoy that as well. Your partner is a unique human being that has their unique needs, their unique ways of being loved. And so maybe the classic buying them flowers, chocolate, and organizing dinner will not really cut it, will not make them feel really, really special. Maybe it will, but maybe it won't. So what I'm just trying to remind you guys is put your partner's needs and the way your partner likes to be loved and feels the most loved at the forefront of that day, if you choose to do that, rather than buying into what society tells you that you should be doing, if that makes sense. But going back to kind of the complex feelings that can arise on Valentine's Day for single people, not only single people, but mostly I think for single people or people that are not in very fulfilling relationships, it's that I think a lot of us can feel a lot more single, right? The same way that, I don't know if you've ever heard about this concept that like, if you don't have any plans on a Tuesday evening, you're going to feel like, oh, this is fine. I'll just watch some Netflix. I'll just do whatever I need to do. You don't really think about it twice. But for some reason, if you have no plans for a Friday evening, now you feel a lot more lonely. Now you're like, oh my God, like, I should be having plans on a Friday evening. It's the night before the weekend. Why is it that I don't have plans? Is it that I don't have friends? And then you can start to fall into that loop just because it's a Friday evening and supposedly on a Friday you're more free and you should, quote unquote, you should be going out. And it's the same thing with the 14th of February on Valentine's Day. If you're single, you might not even think and consider your singleness at all, really all that much. And then 14th of February comes up and you might have really heightened emotions of like, oh my God, I hate this day. It reminds me how solo I am, how lonely I am, how different I feel. It reminds me that, again, in the last 365 days, I didn't meet a man that like I felt really excited about. I didn't meet a man that, I was really, really feeling comfortable with. I just didn't find some guy that I wanted them to be my boyfriend or some girl that wanted to be my girlfriend. So on that day, you can have all of those feelings that will come up and creep up on you that will make you feel just really uncomfortable and to varying degrees. Obviously, some of you will actually just not have that. And if you don't, then I don't really think that this video is really, really aimed at you. But you can continue to listen to see if you have any friends that have that, any family members, or if you used to be that way. So it might help you actually make sense of your past as well, retrospectively. But if you do have those kind of heightened feelings, almost as if like the moment you realize it's the 14th of February, your day crumbles down a little bit and you feel like so alone, so lonely. It's just a horrible day. I definitely remember having days where like I didn't notice that it was the 14th of February till like maybe 12 p.m. or till like the moment I opened Instagram. And the moment I opened Instagram and realized that it was the 14th of February, my whole day was kind of ruined. I was like, oh, and here again, another year that I didn't have a man, another year where I feel lonely, and oh my God, now I feel extra lonely. And then you go to bed and you realize that most people around you are probably with their boyfriends or with their girlfriends and just having a good time. And you're just here in your bed solo with your Netflix and you're like, this is boring. I'm so sick of this. I would like to have somebody by my side as well. And obviously all of these feelings are normal to some degree. Like, a lot of us want to feel part of something. A lot of us want to be able to share life with a special person and all that jazz. But if those feelings are really, really heightened and they really like disturb your day and really, make you really upset, like upset to go all the way to tears and, really feeling like unsettled that day, it actually could mean that there's something deeper there. And I'm genuinely saying this from a place of a lot of love because that is me. That was me, at least. It's definitely something that I've struggled with for a very long time. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I feel like I finally cracked the code. And so basically what I've realized is that a lot of the times when we have big feelings, there's always a root to them. The feelings are kind of just like the tip of the iceberg. What it is that you're able to see and quantify and rationalize and verbalize, right? You have that day, Valentine's Day, you're like, I feel sad, I feel frustrated, I feel lonely, right? You can put words on this. But actually, a lot of the times there's a root cause to this it's a lot harder to make sense of. It's a lot harder to understand, okay, what is this root? What's like the core, the root problem that is making me feel lonely, sad, frustrated today? And actually what I've realized a lot of the times, this root cause is a lack of self-love. And I know it sounds really, really simple, but I don't know, it took me a long time to figure that out. And I've just realized that actually, if you do feel this way on Valentine's Day, you do feel like you're lacking something, you feel like you're struggling a lot with something, and you feel like you're struggling, you feel like you're lacking love, you feel like really lonely, it actually could mean that you are struggling with your self-love and with the love that you can give yourself. And I know that it sounds super, super cliche, but how are you expecting to be able to love someone properly and be in a healthy, beautiful relationship if you've never been able to foster a real, true, deep, and beautiful relationship with your own self? A lot of the times we try to externalize what it is that we want. I want a relationship, so I'm going to go look out for this relationship. I'm going to look out and go on a dating app and find men and find whoever I want to date. So that's going to fulfill the need in me that needs to feel loved. But a lot of the times, you have to pour into your own cup first. You have to work on your own stuff first. Feed your own self, your own cup first before you can try to go outside, right? Because exterior things can always leave, right? You can go find the relationship. It might last for 6 months to a year, and then it's going to crumble down potentially. And then you're going to still feel empty and broken and you're a failure and nobody can love you and frustrated and lonely to a heightened degree. Obviously, anyone that, even if you're in a very secure attachment, even if you feel completely fine, you have a lot of self-love, all that, you would still feel heartbroken, a bit more lonely, maybe abandoned if you go through a breakup, but not to the same degree as if you have no self-love at all. Because if you just use an external relationship to fill your love cup, right, then it means that if that person leaves, then that love cup is going to be empty or very, very slightly filled. Whereas a lot of what I would suggest to do, and also it gives you back power, it gives you back control on your own life, and it empowers you to feel like you're the one that can bring certain things to you rather than waiting that somebody else comes into your life and saves you and sweeps you off your feet. Working on your self-love and learning how you can pour into your own cup is actually really, really beneficial to you, because it means that obviously the moment you're going to be in a relationship, if that relationship does end, that cup will still be relatively full. So yeah, you're going to be sad. Yeah, you're going to feel lonely, but it's not going to feel the same crushing sensation because they're not going to take all of the quote unquote love away with them because you already know how to fill your own cup, right? And a lot of the times what you're going to realize is that when you work on filling your own cup first, working on your own self-love, developing that skill for yourself, you're actually going to realize that you're attracting different types of people around you, different types of men, different types of women, whoever you choose to date, because you now are coming from a place of a lot less neediness, because you already feel relatively fulfilled in your own life, right? If your cup is almost empty, you're gonna be okay with anybody coming with any level of love to give you. Even if it's just 2 centiliters of love, you're gonna be that's more than what I have in my own cup, which is currently 0. So I'll take that. But that doesn't mean that that's healthy, right? That doesn't mean that that's actually gonna fulfill you at all. It'll just be 2 centimeters of quote unquote love in a cup that can maybe hold 15. Whereas if you start to pour into your own cup, and now your cup is full at 7 centimeters, you're not really going to accept anyone coming into your life that can give you less than 7, because you'll be well, I can already give myself 7. Why would I accept some random person that's only willing to give me 2? Do you know what I mean? And so that actually empowers you and makes you attract a completely different caliber of person in your life, which is a really, really good thing, I would say. And just also puts more chances in your basket to find the person that's actually going to be by your side for forever, for your whole life, hopefully, if it works out that way. So that's the thing that I want to tell you guys, is that a lot of the times it's the root cause is a lack of self-love. It's a lack of it's a lack of understanding and seeing that actually you're trying to have somebody else fix a problem that you've never tried to fix on your own first. That makes sense. And so you're trying to run around the whole block trying to find somebody that's going to be willing to help you fix your issue, but you've never realized that you actually have all of the tools right now to fix your own issue. And when I say fix, it's just because I feel like love, seeking out a relationship should not be something that will fix something within you. It should be something that's going to add and beautify your home. So let's say you have like a home. A relationship should be kind of like the interior designer that's going to beautify your house, that's going to add wallpaper, that's going to change the bed of space because it makes a bit more sense with where the window is, that sort of thing. But it shouldn't be like the contractor that's going to come into the house and fix the leaking air conditioning, that's going to fix the fact that the door doesn't close, that's going to fix the leaking radiator, that's going to fix all of the electricity system because no lights are working. That shouldn't be what a relationship is. A relationship should come in to an already beautifully functioning house and enhance the beauty of that house. It shouldn't make the house function. And I think that when we lack self-love, we are seeking somebody that will be able to fix our house, fix our inner discomfort with ourselves, our lack of own self-love. But actually, a lot of the times we don't attract the right type of people when we're in that sort of state, because it's going to be somebody that's going to be trying to fix us, or that's going to be really, really bad at trying to fix something. So you're always going to feel like there's always something that's not working and it's never going to be fully fixed, right? But you actually forget that the fixing job is actually your job. So the job of filling your cup to a certain level to make sure that your own self-love, your own self-love function, I don't know how you call it, is optimal first. And then you can add somebody in your life, a beautiful, healthy relationship that's going to make this cup overflow with love. But the relationship shouldn't be the one that is making this cup functional, right? The self-love cup functional. And I hope that makes sense. I feel like I went on a lot of analogies to make sure that we all understand what this meant. But so if you realize that actually this is something that you are struggling with, the self-love and all of that, what are the sort of like things that you can do? So first of all, acknowledging that this is an issue that is happening and that you're able to see it and you're able to accept that this is something that's happening within you. It's already like a very beautiful, powerful first step of this whole process, because again, you can't fix what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so if you don't know, or you don't acknowledge, or you don't accept that you have some sort of like issue with your self-love, then you're not going to be able to fix it. And as well, taking away the stigma of that, taking away the fact of, oh, like, I'm broken, I can't fill my own cup, I can't feel self-love for myself. No, we've all been through this. Literally, we've probably all been through this at some point in our lives. And how do people get to a place where they feel more self-love? Is because they've worked at it. They've realized they had an issue with it, and they've put in work, hours, and dedication to filling their own cup, to understanding what makes them feel loved, and to understanding how to actually build this sort of relationship with themselves. So the first step is actually acknowledging it and understanding that it's there. And so if you do acknowledge that it's there, you've already done almost half of the process, I would say, because that's such a big thing to accept and realize, okay, I have an issue. And now that you know that you have an issue, you can start to understand, okay, how can I fix this? How can I work on this? And actually, the way you work on self-love, I think, is very, very dependent on who it is that you are, what it is that you do, and very dependent on like what you do respond to. But I would say that there's a lot of different ways to do this. I think there's like a way that is a lot of like how kind you are to yourself, giving yourself a bit more time to process things, understanding kind of your thought patterns, interrupting negative thought pattern loops that are not very nice and not very conducive to you, taking up a few different like mindfulness activities and practices. You can do like EFT tapping, that can really help, or you can take up journaling, or you can take up literally taking your phone and like recording audios to yourself just to speak to yourself. You can go on like mental health, quote unquote, walks to just make sense of things for yourself and understand where these sort of lack of self-love things might be stemming from, right? But then you can also start to go on kind of a journey of filling your own cup. And the way I kind of did this for myself is I thought about it, okay, if I had a partner, what would I be doing? with them? What would I kind of be doing to foster this relationship with them? I'd probably go on walks with them. I'd probably, watch movies with them. I probably would we probably ask each other like deeper questions to understand who we are, what our values are. We probably would cook together. We would go watch movies. We would go to restaurants together. We would organize fun, cute, like spontaneous dates, all of that. And then I kind of realized, yes, it's fun to do this with another person, but all of these things don't have to be done with somebody else, if that makes sense. And I've kind of realized, okay, everything that I would do with a partner, I'm going to start doing it on my own. And so instead of fostering a relationship with somebody else, I'm going to use the same activities that I would have done with someone else and do them on my own. And that's been like a really, really beautiful process, because it feels like I am going on dates. It feels like I am developing an understanding of who it is that I am. But rather than doing that with someone else, I'm doing it with my own self. For example, today I went on my first solo date in a restaurant. Like I went on to a restaurant on my own, just on my own. And I was like, because I've done a lot of work on this sort of like solo date situation, self-love, feeling comfortable in my own skin, it didn't feel weird at all. But I was like, wow, like 3 months ago, I don't think I would have felt comfortable in an actual restaurant, not a cafe, an actual restaurant, just on my own, at my own table with nobody in front of me, nobody next to me, just me, myself, and I eating. And I didn't have like earphones. I really was like, I'm going to be present and just be here on my own and get to know myself a little bit more, because if I had a partner, I'd do that with him. So might as well do that with myself while I'm waiting, quote unquote, to meet my partner, right? And so I think that's what I would say. I would say that like, don't wait for life to bring in what it is that you want before you do the things that you want to do, right? Don't wait to have a partner to go on dates. Don't wait to go have a partner to go to the movies. Don't wait to have a partner to go to the coffee shop that you want to go to. Don't wait to have a partner until you go travel. Like, do these things on your own as well. And then you're going to realize that actually all of these things are, 1, fun, 2, they foster your self-love, and 3, they just foster your confidence as well. And they also like allow you to develop into a quote unquote better version of yourself, more confident version of yourself that will inevitably attract a higher value partner that will meet the value that is increasing within yourself, right? A lot of the times we meet each other where we're at. And so if you stay at a specific level, you're just going to meet somebody that's probably on a similar level as you. But the more you rise into your highest self, the more you rise into your future self, the more you actually increase who it is that you can meet that will have similar values, similar attributes to what it is that you have, right? A lot of people say when you're trying to look for a relationship and you make a list of everything that you want and then become that list, and then you'll start to attract the partner that you're looking for. Because if you're a couch potato and you're looking for an athlete's not going to want to really date somebody that never works out at all and doesn't care about their health, because you're just not on the same level. And that doesn't mean that one is good, one is bad. It's just that you're not on the same level. So if you do want to attract and be with an athlete, then you're going to have to rise to working out consistently and taking care of your own health so that an athlete will want to be with you, right? And that's just how life works. And I do think that the more we foster our own self-love, the more our standards increase, and the better quality of a person we get to attract in our own life. So it's actually an all-over win-win. Obviously, there is like a bit of discomfort that comes up here and there because you feel alone. You feel like, oh, like again, like I tried to do this thing and it didn't work, and I didn't meet this person, I didn't do this, la la la. Obviously, but this is a journey. Sometimes it is 2 steps back to take 1 step forward. That's just the nature of life. Things will go up and down. But my biggest thing with this whole video is that if you do realize that Valentine's Day heightens some feeling of discomfort, loneliness, feeling like you're forgotten, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like you're othered, feeling like nobody's ever going to love you, you probably have somewhere deep inside of you a lack of self-love. Your house has a lot of things that is broken, and it's time for you to fix them before you can actually attract somebody in your life that will enhance the beauty of this house that you have. But if you don't spend the time working on fixing the fundamental issues, filling your own cup with self-love, your cup is never going to be able to overflow. And I think that when you're in a relationship, you want to strive to have overflowing cups rather than just like a cup that was relatively empty that now is a little bit more full because somebody's in your life. Because then you end up in weird situations, codependency, all that jazz. It's not very fun. And then if the relationship does end, you feel like your whole world is broken. Your whole happiness, your whole joy has been taken out of you, ripped out of your chest. Whereas if you don't have that, you're preventing those sort of like really, 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 really difficult feelings of feeling really empty afterwards, because you still had a cup that was full, you still had a life of your own, you still had a lot of self-love to yourself, and you realize that actually you do have a lot of love to give, and you're able and you know how to give it to yourself. Because a lot of us have a lot of love to give, but we don't know how to direct that love back at us. We always want to direct it to a lot of other people and hope that somebody's going to direct their love to us. But it's almost as if like if you never direct love to yourself, how do you want to know how to even accept love from someone else if you've never been able to accept love from your own self? Because, accepting love from your own self is I would say is simpler than accepting love from somebody that you don't know, because you know that the love that you're giving yourself is pure, is well-intentioned, it's not going to go anywhere, it's stable. And so when you know and you learn how to receive that love from your own self, you also are actually working on being able to learn how to receive love from other people. And that makes you, again, an even better partner, even better at like receiving love, receiving a relationship. And so all of these things are really beautiful things that you can do to hopefully help you on this journey. So yeah, I hope this was useful to you. That was what I had to tell you today. I hope it came out clear. I hope it was able to help you. And for me, it's definitely been something that I've been reflecting on quite a bit recently, and realizing that actually I had a lot of self-confidence, had a lot of self-trust, but I had actually very low self-love, and that my breakup really taught me that. And actually just realizing that it's not because you're very confident and you're able to trust yourself and you have a lot of discipline that you actually do love yourself. One doesn't necessarily come with the other. And so sometimes you realize that you're really, really good at certain things, and there's certain things that you actually have neglected and you haven't worked on. And so then it's like, okay, time to work on this thing so we can put more chances on our side to attract the right person for us. So yeah, I really hope that you did enjoy this video and this podcast. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video with other people that could benefit from it as well. If you're listening on the podcast, please subscribe to my podcast. Please leave a review if you can as well. It would really help me out. Don't forget to check out my covers on my new YouTube channel. And as well, don't forget to watch the other video about Valentine's Day. I do think that this will be quite useful to you. And if not, I also have a video about signs that your partner is not the one. That is, I think, a really, really beautiful video that I've created. Yeah, it's very, very nice, and it gives you a lot of different signs, seven of them, as to why your partner or your current partner might actually not be the one, and just things to look out for. It might make you more confident in your relationship, and it might actually give you the confidence and the strength to actually let a relationship go. I don't know what will show up for you. It's a video or a podcast to listen to if you do feel called to do that. So that is all I had to tell you guys today. I'm going to see you guys next week, so on Wednesday and then on Sunday. I really hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And I'm going to go. I love you guys. Bye, guys.